Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Something Super Spiritual. Look who I have with me. I have a lovely, beautiful return guest co-host, Spiritual Blacksmith, aka Lady B in the house. Hi,
Hello,
darling.
everyone.
And we have a new friend, Jonny Torgersen. Jonny is a psychic medium, life coach, works with everybody to help better their lives, heal themselves, and figure out that whole spiritual awakening thing. So, Jonny, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I really appreciate you having me on, and it's great to see you too, Lady B. It's awesome to reconnect.
I know somehow this new Lady B name, but
I
it's
love
spiritual Blacksmith. But Lady B, I guess, has a English Bridgerton sound to it, which I am either.
Completely. Bridgerton, Downton Abbey, Gilded Age, somewhere in all that.
In other words, she's a queen, and we knew that.
Yes.
That's where I was trying to. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So how are you guys doing? There is a lot going on in the world right now. And we wanted to talk a little bit about that. I don't watch the news. I am known for never having the news on. When the TV's on, it's usually, something like that. YouTube, spiritual music, that's what's on, or repeats of, Modern Family and Family Guy and Will and Grace. But this, everything that just happened yesterday, it's so hard to not notice what's going on. There's so much anger. There's so much frustration. There's so much fear. And both sides are in spirals. So, yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys, welcome everybody. Gina, I see you. Liz, hi, Liz. Fogapoli, Kaylee, it's good to see you. Rosita, Jess, Kelly, hi, guys. Thank you so much for being here. But I wanted to ask you guys out there, how are you guys feeling about what's going on? How are you centering yourselves? How are you keeping yourselves in that place of groundedness and trying to stay out of that place of fear and anxiety? And Lady B, Jonny, what are you guys? What's going on? What are the questions you guys are getting, and what are you feeling on your insides? Aside from the normal, the obvious.
Right. Well, for me personally, I always like to approach situations like that when world events happen to see the point from both sides. And, I'm not here to declare any side to be wrong or right, but, I think it comes down to your own personal responsibility. And we're so reactionary, this world and social media, it's so easy to just have an immediate knee-jerk reaction. And so I always like to encourage, especially myself and also my kid, he's 15 and goes to high school, and he's experiencing all that stuff too. And, just take a moment to pause before you have a reaction, so you can have a response rather. Because a lot of times when we come from a place of just wanting to react and just to have an opinion, it's not always the core truth of who we are. So I think it's always good to just pause for a little bit and allow yourself to just reflect. And so prayer, meditation, journaling, I always tell my clients, when you have inner turmoil coming up, start to journal, write things down. And then I also ask them to place it in a God box. So I literally have a couple different wooden boxes, and I call them my God boxes. And as I give away my worry, I give away the things that I'm concerned about, because obviously this is much larger than, my human mind could figure out. So yeah, just relying on a higher power for guidance. How do we navigate these times?
That's the question. How do we navigate this? Lady B, what do you have to say?
It's different, I guess. As you can tell, everyone has different perspectives, and I'll put it this way: some of us have the luxury of not letting it affect us, and some of us don't. So, as someone who presents like this in the world, I don't have the luxury of not letting certain things affect me and my life, and everyone who's in my family and everyone who's near and dear to me. But regarding what happened yesterday, I don't watch the news. So of course I'm seeing all of it on social media. I'm like, who is this? So that's kind of where I stepped into it, and the only thing that came to me was how ironic. That was my only response, was how ironic. I hope that people begin to see that things affect all of us. None of us have the luxury as human beings, as fellow sisters and brothers, to not tap into, feel, acknowledge what happens to someone else. We are all connected.
Completely.
And so that's kind of the way I approach it. I also, that's probably the way I approach everything. So like Jonny said, I'm not here to declare sides, but I'm not stupid. We're not, we all observe, we all have our thoughts. Of course, when anyone loses their life, it's sad, but I mean, anyone, Black or brown, anyone. So I don't pick and choose with having more outrage over one over the other. And so even when a dog loses their life, I'm sad. I don't even kill bugs and spiders anymore. Life is life, because we all bleed red. And so that's kind of the way I've been taking it. But of course, I don't watch the news. I rarely do. I hear everything through other people. And that's interesting because it comes with the emotion, but a different emotion, depending on where they land on things, you get their emotion along with it. So it's been interesting when different friends, different people express their reactions to things, because it lets gives you a nice inside view as to where they lie with things, which is always good for me as someone who presents like this. Now I'm like, oh, now I know. Okay. And so I can move accordingly with my life in a way that surrounds myself with people who I know support me and the way I present on this earth. So that's kind of how I'm taking it, how I'm looking at it.
And I understand. I, like you said, who is this guy? That's what I was too. I was like, wait, what's going on? Who's this person? And then I went to my Facebook and had to see what was, flying through all of the feed and what people were saying. And I was like, oh my God, he said what? Oh, he said what? Holy crap, he said what? And I was just like, whoa, wait a minute here. So yeah, there is a lot of reaction, a lot of, I saw a lot of people talking about people like laughing and praising the act, and I think that's absolutely atrocious. I didn't see that personally, but like you said, Lady Blacksmith, irony is it's interesting, and there's so much being fueled into this whole experience for all of us, regardless of our gender or color or religion. There's just so much being fanned and fueled into all of this, and it's really hard to really take a breath and remind yourself to focus and center and not react. You know what I'm saying? It's hard.
Oh, go ahead, Jonny.
Well, I was just going to say, people get so easily triggered, and then, anything that challenges our core beliefs, people will die on a hill because of what they believe about themselves on a deeper level. I work with a lot of people on a subconscious level through hypnosis, and it's so interesting to see people, when they get triggered, uphold this energy of wanting to protect something, prove something, defend something, even hide something. And we spend so much time in just proving our own beliefs to be correct, when how about we let other people challenge some of the beliefs we have and to see things from a different perspective from both sides. I love nuances in this work, and being a human being. Well, first of all, being a soul, having a human experience, as we all are, it's important to see the full spectrum of what humanity is. It's not black and white, and it's so many things we can figure out if we just start to listen to other people. And I think that's the first place, like how we just start to listen to each other without cussing each other out and yelling at each other, because there's so much to be learned from both. Well, it's not just two angles. That's the thing. Like, welcome to the American experience, where we have to choose one side over the other. I grew up in Norway, and not to go political, but we have a much wider spectrum of political parties that we can choose from. And so I like that we have more options, because life is not black and white. And so I like to lean into the thought that there are many more ways to look at it than just two angles.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, Jonny, because that's kind of where I was going with what I was going to say, and that it's all part of the plan to get us all out of focus, to get us riled up, to get us moving in this space of fear, to get us not to put on our critical thinking lens and actually look at something and go, wait a minute, let me just listen, let me learn, let something that I thought be challenged and it be okay. Because challenge helps us grow, and I think that's kind of where we're going now, that there is no critical thinking.
Right. There's
people allow other people to think through them and tell them what to think, and they move from there. And when you challenge certain people on their thoughts, they can't even have a coherent conversation on why they believe that. Well, that's okay, but why do you believe that? Where did you get that from? And they have no basis for any of this.
Yeah.
And it's sad, because you realize, I don't know if I could reach certain people, and I don't know where our society, where we took that hard left turn to where we can't even just think when presented with something new. I mean, whenever somebody tells me something new, I'm like, oh, I always just, and I just stop and I think a minute.
Yeah.
And I let it settle. And I'm like, oh, interesting. And then I have a question that spurs something else, because I want to learn more about why you feel that. And sometimes, I will say, well, what led you to come to that conclusion? Meaning, I don't get what the F you just said and why, and it makes no damn sense, but I'm willing to take your hand and have you walk me through that thought process, because maybe I missed something. Something
well,
makes
you're naturally curious, and that's a beautiful.
Curious. I'm like, how did you get there? Even if I don't agree, or if I don't agree, I'm like, well, how did you get there so that I can really make sure that I don't agree with what you said, because I'm lost. Right. But in either event, I want to see how you got there. And there's just not a sense of wanting to see how people got there. They're just, I don't know. It's frustrating. Yeah, it's frustrating. And and they're not willing to change once confronted with a possibility that clearly challenges in a good way and expands what you feel like No, it's just mind-boggling to me. So I don't know where we are. I don't know.
It's bananas. I was just thinking this morning that there are I love that you brought up the beliefs, because I was thinking this morning that a belief is nothing more than a thought over and over and over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember believing the way I used to believe, and then spirit happens, and then you're like, holy cow, what is happening? And then you start out early on in that spiritual awakening, when you're just trying to figure things out, and you have these new beliefs, right? These new beliefs. But then I noticed that throughout the journey, they started to change, and they would continue to change. So like for me, now that I'm like at 2 decades of consciously living with spirit, I've really come to a place on my insides where I now give myself space and grace to allow myself to evolve and grow. And maybe what I believe today isn't what I believe tomorrow, because I have a whole new experience, or I meet somebody, Lady B, that says, hey, what about this? And I'm like, ooh, that's different. Okay. And then, you think about it, you feel into it. Something into that, and you just let it percolate a little bit. I appreciate that. However,
to go through it can be challenging, because it goes so deeply to our core and what we think we believe about ourselves. And like you said, you said, belief is just that repeated thought that comes over and over.
Totally. It's hard, and where we are today. Oof. Here's what I know. I know we're so much better together. I know that we need to come together. And then I think about that as I say those words, and how? Where is the how in all of this? It's like, oof.
Well, I think we're also being given a beautiful opportunity right now to choose how to respond to things. And, a lot of spiritual teachers will tell you, you either come from a place of fear or love. And so when you start to think about that, if you reverse engineer your thoughts from where do they come from, am I saying this out of fear, or am I saying this out of love? I think that's such a profound question to ask people. And I ask myself that over time, like, am I actually fearful right now, or is what I'm saying coming from a place of love? And when I open up that conversation in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's when you start to dismantling the things that you thought you believed about yourself and your opinions. So it's a very disruptive moment that we're going through, not just what happened yesterday, but like, I mean, have you guys been around the last 5 years and seen what's been going down? It's been a lot. Humanity is being challenged at a very deep level to really reconsider what's going on. And
there's a lot happening, and there's a lot coming.
Oh yeah.
But I love people are waking up though.
Yeah,
people
totally.
If anything that I can say has happened is people are finally going, oh, wait a minute. I'm like, yeah. And the more people wake up, the more we remember that we are supposed to be these loving beings. We remember that there's abundance. We remember that we're spiritual. We remember that we are meant to be in community. We remember that we all want the same things: to be safe, to be fed, to love our families. We all want the same thing.
Yeah.
But I think people are finally awakening to that.
We all come from the same place, before we came to the planet, like we're all out there in the ether together before we were even born. So like, and I really believe that place is just love. I mean, there's different levels of understanding and awarenesses and things like that, but ultimately we all come from love. That's our soul's nature. And so why don't we start to remember that and see, where that takes us? Yeah. I'm asking the people.
Amen. You guys, if you have any comments or you want to add anything to this conversation, please do. Let's see what Rosita says. She lives in the now, counts her blessings, and prepares for the worst. Always hope for the best in friends and family. Listening to all of you gives us hope for the future. Oh, Rosita. Well, and listening to you gives us hope too, because I love that. I love that perspective.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Also, what helps me too. So I know all of you do, we all do, because we've all traveled recently, but I feel like traveling really helps people with this perspective. The more you get out, the more you see other people, when you see other people, the way they live, the way they speak, the way they eat, their culture, it really broadens your horizons. You know what I mean? And I wish that we had mandatory travel for everyone. Like, right after I got out of high school, everyone must go and travel the world for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, whatever, and come back. I just feel like if we could do that, we in the United States would be leaps and bounds better than where we are now. I really do believe that. I really do.
I like that thought.
It opens your eyes. It opens your eyes, and you recognize that all of these people all over the world are doing nothing but the same thing that you are doing.
Literally. Yes. Yeah. And you realize there's so much other things in the world. Like, you'll go to some places and, the US isn't centered there. Right. So they're just living their life. And you're like, wait, I can live my life and not have something occupy my thoughts? Yes, you can. So you can come back and you could still, still be aware, but not have everything occupy your thoughts. I tell a lot of my clients to consciously unplug, because I think part of the whole plan is to keep us plugged into that fear, plugged into that scarcity.
100%. Yeah.
The more we can unplug, that's where we take our power back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important to step back and see things from a different perspective. And that's why I love the work that we guys, all of us do. We are spiritual mediums. We do the spiritual work. We meditate. And it's like we get to see everything from a different perspective. And that thought, spiritual blacksmith, is such a profound thing to experience. It really is. I used to be such a people pleaser. And so some way I still am. So I always had a tendency to always want to agree with people, when I was younger. And I burned myself so many times doing that. But now I'm like, I can still own my truth and say what I think and believe and own that fully and wholly. And that feels great. So, but then also realizing I'm not responsible for for how other people are perceiving me. Because I always used to want to manage other people's experience of me and my opinions, what I believed and what I thought. And now I'm realizing I'm only responsible for how I'm making what I say land, and how other people and how they take it has nothing to do with me. But I am responsible for delivering it in a kind way. And, I would love to see this country, this world come to a place where we start to say things out of kindness, even if we disagree. Because now everyone's just shouting at each other, and it's just just be quiet. Can we have a civilized conversation here? And that's not happening right now. It's really not happening right now.
No. Jess says, here we go. Jess. Hi, Jess. Jess says, it feels like life is really challenging me to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's super uncomfortable.
It
is.
That's all of us. Yes. And it's funny because I feel like when you start to step into your gifts and step into your spiritual walk, your spiritual awakening, or your desire to, that's the one thing we ought to deal with. Literally, I know my spirit team has really made me not be a control freak. And they're still working on me because the Lord knows but they really had to say, you know what, we need you to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And when you are there, that's when you can relax, you can be open, you can be ready for whatever comes. And that's the sweet spot. But just that's all of us suffer with that. But when you are comfortable being uncomfortable, you're right where you need to be.
Yeah. Because you're growing, you're experiencing that internal friction, and that's taking you from a place of where you are right now to a place where you should be going. I really believe that the soul is trying to raise our frequency and vibration, and internally we're holding back because change is scary. We talked about this before, Spiritual Blacksmith, that anything that's different to the mind or a new concept feels challenging and it feels scary. And so we just have to recognize okay, there's a part of me that's afraid, and let me just move through this, whether gracefully or not, that's kind of up to you. But be kind with yourself, be patient with yourself. When you go through something that's difficult, dial back and live in self-care for a little bit. And you don't have to have an opinion on everything. You can allow yourself to gather your thoughts, gather your opinions, and then come out with a much better response, I think.
It's funny, in my theta healing training, we talk about that. We say, because we're afraid for change, right? And so we ask our clients, okay, well, that thing that you're afraid of, what if it happens? Then what? And you just keep digging. Okay, and then if that happens, and then what? And you keep going until you finally get to the very seed, the very root of what is the underlying basis for the fear, and you can address that thing, And half the time it's something that probably won't ever come to fruition. Or once they verbalize the fear, they realize, wow, that was it.
Right. It wasn't that bad after all.
Yeah, it was really not that bad. And so then they're oh, yeah. That's what was holding you back this whole time, was the fear of, I feel like I'm going to lose my job. Okay, then if I lose my job, then what?
Right.
I can get another one. Okay, but if I don't like that, and then what? You can get another one. Okay. And so you start to figure out what's really, 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 really at the root of it. And it's not really what you think it is. It's something else. It could be abandonment.
Yeah.
It could be, security,
yeah,
safety, or something completely unrelated.
Yeah.
So, well, not even, or it's always something completely unrelated to what you think it is,
Yeah.
It reminds me of this reel of this. Have you seen that reel of that little boy who's ziplining? He has his little helmet on, and he's ziplining flat through the, through the forest, and he's screaming in sheer panic. And then you see his face relax, and he's like, oh, this isn't so bad. This isn't so bad. And then he starts to get scared again, and he starts to panic, and then his little face relaxes and he smiles and he goes, okay, this isn't so bad. Same thing.
That's me in a nutshell. Every single day. Yeah. What's going on here?
Totally. I am so lagging on my end. Do you guys see that?
No.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So I can't look at the screen because it confuses me when I don't see my lips match my voice.
You're not lagging at all.
Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for this amazing conversation. Yeah, this was helpful. was helpful for a lot of people, I feel.
Good. I think it's good to just remind people like it's okay to take a breath. And there's a lot of strength that comes from that. And, you know, if we want to be, we have to be resilient through these times. And so we just gotta dial it back a bit sometimes and turn on the emotions.
Yeah.
What do you guys recommend for people to help them dial it back or help them quickly bring themselves back if they feel themselves getting pulled into or sucked into? I mean, for me, I teach yoga, so we say take a yoga class, but maybe they can't get to a yoga studio. So, you know, maybe doing a 2-minute breath grounding or something. But do you have anything for people that you would recommend?
That's what I was just going to say. That's the quickest and easiest thing in that flash moment. If you're feeling yourself getting triggered to the point where you are starting to, like, you feel the emotions rise and you can feel the heat rise and you can feel the pressure rise, you know, that's the for me, the quickest and best thing is to just fully stop, focus on 3 deep, solid breaths, grounding to the earth, feeling my feet on the ground so that I completely shift my synaptic misfires or whatever, you know, and just make sure that I'm here present in the now. And that's, yeah. And, you know, similar with what you teach in yoga, you know, with the breath and being present. But for me, like, if it's in the moment, and sometimes in that moment, that pressure can rise, that emotion can rise, you know, quite quickly in the face of a big trigger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What about you, Jonny? Because I know you do hypnotherapy. Is there anything that you can?
Yeah. You know, we're so, a lot of people, we're so addicted to drama and chaos, and so easy. Every time you open up your phone, which is a terrible habit, by the way, that's like #1 culprit, I really think, to the psyche that we're experiencing today. Because like every time you open up your phone or the social media apps, you're being blasted with an aggressive opinion, which is fine. But like, allow yourself to maybe dial back on how much you watch the news and watch social media, because, you know, people get so triggered, and then, you know, we're addicted to the drama. We get sucked into the dysfunction of that reality. And so, you know, I always tell my clients, like, what's the worst thing that would happen if you just were to sit with yourself for like 5 minutes every day? That's all. And then see how your life changes. You know, journal, use your God box, place your worries and concerns on paper and give it away. Turn it over to a higher power. You know, whatever your idea of a higher power is. I really can't emphasize that strong, you know, enough with my clients. Even the ones that don't believe in a higher power, you know, because we deal with that too.
Oh, sure.
So like, allow yourself to like regulate your emotions, and recognize when you're out of alignment with your own self, and start there. And that's what I wish that they would teach in schools, like mindfulness, and just dial it back a little bit sometimes. There's much to be said of like regulated emotions and surrounding yourself with people who are regulated. Because if you're always surrounding yourself with people who are into the chaos and the drama, like, you know, you're going to be sucked into that. And so just be mindful, more mindfulness. That's it.
Amen.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys want to? Oh, go ahead. What?
I was going to say, somebody mentioned, because I know we hear like mindfulness thrown around, but it just came to me about, even when you're eating your food, instead of just like woofing it down, just to like chew and try to taste every flavor and try to identify every, you know, ingredient in what you're eating. Like, that can bring you to a place of mindfulness just really quick. I don't think people know how to be mindful, you know what I mean? And so I was just trying to think of like little things to help people just practice mindfulness.
Yeah.
I know, like, I don't watch TV or look at my phone when I eat. You know, I just want to be in the moment and like chew and what am I tasting right now?
I like that.
Oh, that, you know, and that'll just bring you out of that chaos into now, just right, you know. So anyway, that's all I have to add.
That alignment, and then allow, you know, run your energy, allow yourself to circulate your internal energy, because there's so much static energy, and if you can just get flow inside our energy system and our chakras, that has a big impact. And the way you do that, you meditate and you focus on your breathing, and you breathe into your heart, you breathe into your solar plexus, and you feel that expansion happening there. So yeah, slowing it down, major help.
I love it. Thank you. You guys want to do some readings for everybody? Do some little mini readings?
Sure.
You guys, I saw a couple questions come through. On Kevin, hi. Kevin's here. Bernadette, hi. Charlotte. Michael Christopher's here. Yay. Yeah, you guys, put some questions in the comments. It's if you write it in capitals, it's just a little bit easier for us to see them. Yeah, Lady B and Johnny, you can see the chat to your right on your screen. Can you?
I put my glasses on, I can.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys want to start? You want to pick one and just go right ahead? You want me to pick one?
Yeah, let's see here.
You guys have your glasses on, so you guys can read.
All right.
It keeps
I'm just
moving.
gonna go ahead and pick one. Hold on.
Cool.
Okay, Glorious. Glorious is here. Hi, Glorious, darling. Glorious asks, when should I move? Should I wait? I need some direction.
Glorious, I would ask yourself, like, what is the need for wanting to know right now? Because I think if you don't know right now, it would make sense to wait. Let me just talk from my own experience, and then I'll see what I get, and you feel free to chime in, everybody. But it's like when I know there's a change about to happening, and I don't know when. You know, I'm very eager. You know, I'm a fire sign, so I want to get things going when I want them to happen. And so as I'm saying that, I just feel with you, Gloria, like there's this underlying maybe anxiety or something to do with the uncertainty of a potential move. And so just ask yourself, like, why do I need to know right now? Or actually a better question, like, what is it that you want to move away from? And start to ask yourself, like, I want to move towards something versus from something. Because if you don't know, maybe it's not the time.
Great. Lady B?
For me, I just got a hit on 3 to 6 months for you, Glorious. And October was pinging for me too. So I don't know if something's going to arrive to you in October that's going to give you a little bit more guidance, but I was seeing 3 to 6 months. But as Johnny was saying, whatever happens, whatever reveals itself to you in October, ask yourself, you know, am I looking at this thing through a lens of fear or through a lens of love? And if you can see things through a lens of love, that'll bring clarity to you on how fast you should move. But I did see 3 to 6 months, and I don't know if that means the move is going to happen between that time, or you'll be able to make a decision, get clarity between that time. Want to live on the water where I feel mentally healthy. Okay.
So Glorious, when I feel into your auric field, I can see when I see orange in the field on the left side specifically, I know that the potential and possibility for a move is in your field. It is absolutely there. But there's also this feeling of like I feel on my insides like I don't want to make the step yet. I don't want to make the move yet. And it's not it doesn't feel like it's so much for financial reasons, but more of like almost like I'm just not fully buying into that just yet. Interestingly, Glorious, the card that came up for you is synchronicity, and it's all about destiny and divine timing. So like Lady B had mentioned, you know, you will absolutely know from the very core of your inside out when you are supposed to go. I do feel like that there is a little bit more of a shift, a little bit more of an awareness that you will have somewhere between October and December. And it feels to me like it's that little puzzle piece that you don't quite have yet, or maybe it's that little bit of inspiration that you truly haven't felt yet. Your comment here, I want to live on the water where I felt mentally healthy. Great reason to want to have to, you know, take that energy and move our house. You know, that's a big deal, but so is your mental health. And I just want you to, I want to encourage you to just really pay attention to your insides, because you will absolutely know without a doubt when it's time. And I'm just going to second what Lady B said, that there's an inspiration, there's a puzzle piece that lands somewhere between October and December. I hope that helps, Glorious.
Can I
Oh,
add to
go
that?
ahead, Johnny.
Doesn't
Yeah,
feel
yeah, go
more
ahead.
inclusive. I just feel like there's some unresolved sadness in your life right now, Glorious. And so a lot of times we want to make the shift and, you know, externally change our circumstances in order for like a hope of healing to happen. But I would encourage you to lean a little bit more about the healing today, whatever is unresolved around whatever sadness you may be experiencing, if I'm right on that. Allow yourself to start that healing process now, and allow yourself to feel your emotions a little bit more, because when you start to change on the inside, then the move will happen more naturally and fluently, and you'll know more clearly when that's going to happen. So I think it's a great opportunity to work a little bit inwards. I hope that helps.
Beautiful advice. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Glorious. Do you guys see one that you want me to pick? Or Brianna? Oh, everybody say hi to Brianna. Brianna's in the background. Thank you for being here, darling. Go ahead, you guys. You see one you want to...
I'll have you pick the things because I can't see it.
Oh, you guys, I'm going for Diane here. Diane, it was kind of highlighting up here. Diane, my son was unfairly, in my opinion, let go from his job of almost 20 years right out of high school. Will he find another or go back to school to learn a new skill?
It's a good question, and I don't want to step on your toes, Diane. How do I phrase this? Part of me feels that I can relate as a parent myself, that we always want the best for our kids. And sometimes it's about recognizing and turning our children's lives over to their own paths. I would feel more comfortable if your son were to ask me directly, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, I'm not getting much on that. What about you guys?
How about you, Lady B?
I feel like there's more to the story that's going on here. I do feel, I don't know, the male energy that I'm picking up on is someone who's very active, someone who is good with their hands, their body, and having a very active type of job. I'm not sure if that's your son or what type of job he was doing. But I do feel as though new skills are coming into play. Like I said, it would be better if it would come from him, but I'm always of the one that looks at things as though, you know, when one door opens, you know, a window and another door and a wall sometimes appear. And so if he's had that job for 20 years, you know, maybe it is time for something new that's going to push him, that's going to expand his horizons and be better for him in the long run. We don't know. But I do know, and I always say that the universe does conspire for our good. We just sometimes get in the way of that conspiracy. So sometimes we just need to back up and let the universe work things out, and see what happens, and be willing and open and ready to step into something new, because you never know. That could just be the best thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was being pinged to say, Diane. First of all, I love your mama bear energy. I absolutely love that. However, here's what I know. When the universe pulls a rug that we have absolutely no control over, there's a major reason why that rug is being pulled, and it is time for some movement. And I will even add, there was more than likely, he was probably feeling that it was time for change. But sometimes often, because we are human beings, change is hard. And a lot of times familiar is more comfortable. Even if familiar sucks, the familiar of being comfortable is better than the fear of what's next and what's to come. So I just want to say that there's a big reason why he was let go from this. And it feels to me like this was his guides, his guardians, his own soul setting him on off on his next adventure. And this is about him taking control of what he came here, what he wants to do, where his interests lie, where he feels like he's being guided and led to. Interestingly, the card that came up again is the synchronicity card. I mean, so there is a theme here. And I really have this feeling now with regard to your question. I can't really quite feel into whether he's just going to choose school versus job, because here's how it feels to me. I feel like there is this sense about, I know that he's going to be okay. Let me just say that. I absolutely know that there is a sense of him being okay. And there's also a feeling when looking through to the other side that he's going to look back and this go, oh, thank God I lost that job. You know, that it's going to feel that great. It might not feel that great right now. But there's this feeling of him expanding, and it feels a little bit different than what he's been doing for the last 20 years. It feels different. So it feels to me like there's more responsibility, more people, and it also feels to me like there's a lot of on-the-job learning. So that could be the actual schooling / training / trade education, you know, that you might be referring to will go back to school. But I absolutely do. I love your mama bear vibe and wanting to make sure your child is going to be okay. But I just want to let you know that the universe has his back, and this is a lesson for him in this very moment, for him to move forward through his own soul's guidance. But
and
it feels good.
Sorry, I just wanna, also for you, Diane, it's almost like an invitation for you to look at your intentions, because I know you want the best for your son. Absolutely, I understand that. But it's almost like work with your own worry a little bit and work on your own trust in his path, because he definitely has his own path, and it's, you know, usually his own path is probably better than we think for our children to be.
And Diane, I completely understand. He's on the spectrum, and it is tough for him. Completely understand. I have friends. I have quite a few friends actually with children on the spectrum, and I get it, and I understand that big mama bear energy even more from you. But regardless, darling, I really want to encourage you to take some deep breaths and trust that, you know, he is where he's meant to be. And that this is with your help. I mean, he's not doing this alone. He's got your support. He's got others' support as well. And this was meant to happen for his next growth. I hope that helps, darling. Thank you for being here. All right, you guys. All right, everybody, give me about 2 seconds here. I'm gonna go
Instagram
back.
comments too?
Oh yeah, do you have your comments on Instagram?
Can't see my Instagram, but if they have any questions, they could. I don't know if we're checking. I was just looking on this chat, or Facebook, if anyone has theirs open. We don't miss those questions.
Facebook comes through the feed, so we'll see that. Okay. You know what? I'm sitting here looking at. I was just looking at Michael Christopher. Hi, Michael. I know I said that to you. Hi to you already, but you're on my mind a lot, and I've got Charlotte right above you, so I'm just gonna go right to Charlotte, you guys. Charlotte says, Charlotte Get Good. Ooh, I love the last name.
That's a great name.
Am I getting ready for a positive change and possibly move somewhere else? Thank you very much. All right, you guys, go ahead.
Am I getting ready for positive change and possibly move somewhere else? Thank you very much. Well, wouldn't you like to know? I feel that anticipation, and you know, who's to say what's a positive change or a negative change? I think ultimately any change is good for us. Let me feel into that for a little bit. You know, how about, Charlotte, how about you start to explore some options instead of thinking so much about like, oh, I feel like you're holding yourself back a little bit here. And so allow yourself to dream a little bit bigger. Even if you put it on a paper, like if you write down a vision list of what you prefer in life, allow yourself to 10x those dreams. So, because if you have, this is what I would say to you, if you have a goal in mind, and then you start to feel the positive things around that goal, you're going to be much more motivated to make that happen. So instead of coming from a place of being passive, waiting for things to happen, go for it. Exert a little bit more energy into your own life. That's the feeling I'm getting from this. And that's kind of what I want to say to you. But also, you know, like, and this goes for everybody, you know, when we want something, we want to try to manifest something in our lives, allow yourself to dream bigger than you initially will, because even if that 10x dream doesn't happen, at least if you get a fraction of it, you'll be further ahead of where you are today. So allow your mind to be inspired, and yeah, because that way you want to make it happen for yourself.
I love that 10x dream. It's kind of like that. What is that? What is that phrase? Like, what if you aim for the moon, shoot for the stars, because or if you shoot for the stars, aim for the moon, because, you know what I'm saying? It's something like that.
Yeah, I feel we were getting to. Yeah.
If you fail, you'll still hit the stars or something.
Yeah,
like
you'll hit
dial back on a lesser version of your goal, it's still going to be amazing. That's what I'm trying to say.
Totally, absolutely. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Lady B. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. And it's interesting for me, Charlotte, I feel the answer is yes, but I feel like it's not going to be a straight point A to point B, right? It's going to, but they actually showed me a line and then a turn. So I was like, oh, so it's going to happen, but it's not going to happen in other words, it's going to be a detour. So if you're looking for a positive change and then move, it may happen a positive change, which will cause something else, and then the move happens. So it's not going to be boom, boom, and just coming in the pair that maybe you're thinking about. So I would say be open to how it could present itself, and be open to how you view the change as positive, because change is change, right? But if you view it as positive, it'll be positive. If you view it as negative, it'll be negative. So when change does arrive at your door, which it always will for everyone, you know, view it as positive and allow whatever is meant to happen to lead to you maybe moving or whatever else needs to happen. But I do feel like it's going to happen, just not in the way you think it will. So remove that extra pressure on yourself to see it unfold in a certain way.
Mm-hmm. And allow yourself to feel the fear of making the change, because sometimes that's what's could be holding you back, Charlotte. So allow yourself to explore, like, why am I not ready? Because when you know, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Charlotte, is Charlotte still here? Has she responded? Has she said anything?
I haven't seen this yet. No.
Yeah. Charlotte, I just had this feeling that you have this connection with angels, and I just felt like I needed to point that out to you. Because with regard to your question, I just really want to encourage you, like the other two did, to really see this change as it's going to be positive, regardless of what it looks like. I have been through the ringer at times, many times, and that just, you know, it sucked straight up. It just sucked. But afterwards, I was like, oh, thank goodness I went through that, because there's some really beautiful growth ahead of you. And I want to echo what Lady B said, Charlotte, because I do feel like, first of all, I see orange all the way around you. So I know that this move is pretty imminent. I mean, it just feels like it's absolutely present. And there's also a lot of red in there too. And I just want to touch into that for a second, because this red is really beautiful and it's really shiny and sparkly. And it just feels like there's a lot of like untapped passion that is seeping, like passion for purpose, I guess, that like your purpose is coming to the surface and you're able to start working that passion or utilizing or being in service to people in a different way that really lifts you and fills your cup in a way that you haven't been yet. It's just, I just wanted to say, I feel like you already, I know you're already spiritual. I know you're already spiritually capable. I can feel your heart. I know that you're empathic. I know that you are very accepting and you just love people. People love you. So I want to say, be prepared during this change, because I too feel like how you imagine it to be, it feels like there is a right turn, or a detour. And it's like, if you think you're going from A to B this way, you're still going to get here, but you're going to go this way. And I feel like that has a lot to do with a lot of the inspiration that is within you welling up, hitting into your purpose and more of that passion that is just lighting you from the inside out.
I like that. And you're in a lot more control of your future and destination than you think you are. So allow yourself to go for it.
Yeah, I hope that's helpful, Charlotte. And you guys, if there's any of you that are listening to us and you're feeling like we're talking to you, you're supposed to be here. Synchronistically, you're here and you're supposed to hear these messages as well. Even though we are guided to, certain questions here and there, it's all driven by spirit. And those of you who are feeling like, oh my gosh, it sounds like he's talking to me, we are. Just a reminder. Okay, well, thank you, Charlotte. Get good. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. Liz. Okay. Oh, thank you, Charlotte. Hold on. Coming to Liz. Don't go anywhere. I couldn't get my mouse to work. All right. So Liz says, have I worked through enough health and shadow issues to refocus on mediumship or healing gifts? Thanks and blessings. Fish orange wide eyes.
What does that mean? That's so funny.
All right, Liz, happy you're here. So yeah, go ahead, you guys.
Well, I'm happy to start. Liz, what I feel for you is that, stop waiting to be ready to get started and move simultaneously as you're healing, because I think the two go hand in hand for you. And so I will work through enough health and shadow issues. Yeah, I think you'll never stop working on that. And so don't let that stop you from moving forward. Go hand in hand and, bring your issues with you, as I like to say, because we all have them and we'll always have them. But instead, bring them in the car, but have the fears and all that stuff sit in the passenger seat. Let's just not have that drive the car. Have the higher part of yourself drive the car. In case you guys not picking up on my vibe here, I'm always the kind of person who will encourage people to aim a little higher for themselves and believe more in themselves, because a lot of times we'll sit back and be so passive waiting for someone to tell us what to do. But hey, you are in charge of your life and you have to remember that. And so, but I also do appreciate your responsibility for wanting to heal your stuff, because in doing mediumship and delivering messages, we have to come from a place of having worked through some of our issues. But, you can do it simultaneously as well, because I do also sense that you have such a strong awareness of who you are. And that is a beautiful thing to do and have when you do mediumship, because the more you know yourself, it's going to be easier for you to feel other destinies and paths ahead of you. So, yeah, I say go for it. Yeah, do that course.
Only thing that I would say, Liz, that came for me is yes, but I feel like there's something left that still needs to be explored. And it's taking me to when you were young. I want to say ages 12, 13, possibly something that started in the summer of age 11. Whatever was going on in your life around that time, you've probably already dealt with it, but go back and see if there's any remaining residue lingering thoughts about it and dive deep into that. And that may be the impetus, the thing that helps you really step into your healing. It could be something that you understand or something that shifts something for you that's going to help you really be able to reach more people by addressing or wrapping up addressing whatever it is that is still lingering from that time period in your life. And hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, Liz, this work, it goes on and it goes on. We are in constant development. We are in constant evolution. We are here to work through and move through all of those, you know, the wounds and from childhood and the traumas from childhood, even the traumas from, you know, adulthood. I mean, they happen. This is life here in this 3D planet. And I also wanted to echo what Jonny said. I absolutely appreciate the fact that you know yourself well enough. It's time to take a break. It's time to take a break. Got to focus on you. That's awesome. But I also loved what you said, Jonny, is like, you know, take the issues with you, you know, like in a little backpack, and here I go with my issues, because it's those issues, those wounds, those all of that which we are healing from throughout this lifetime, throughout this journey, throughout this incarnation where we are meant to learn all of these lessons. But it's through all of that, the more healing we do on ourselves when we're doing this work, the more connected, the more clear, the more clarity we have when we're connecting to those on the other side, when we're connecting to those in front of us psychically, and we're answering questions like we are with you. The more healing you're doing with yourself, the deeper healing, the more clarity you will have in this work. And so don't be afraid of doing this work while you still know you have all this healing to do. I mean, I'm here at 2 decades since I've been walking with my eyes open and all of this happening with me. And just this year, I have been made aware of that which I didn't even know was on my insides. And now I'm working through some serious old school trauma work. I have lived 55 years with trauma inside my body that I didn't even realize it was there. It was just this normal for me that I'm grinding my teeth to nubs over the last 40 years. And I just thought it was normal. You know, I just thought this is normal life. So yeah, this is a lifetime that we're here, and we're honoring where we are, where we've been, what we're here to learn. And in doing so, you keep doing this work. You keep stepping up and being in service for spirit, for others, including yourself, and by giving yourself breaks the way that you did. That's awesome. I appreciate that. So I just wanted to add my 2 cents to that.
I love it. Yeah, and it makes you relatable too, Liz, because you know when you're in whatever frequency you're vibrating on, you're going to attract those clients to you. And so there's the clients that come to me. It's never by mistake. They're always matching some where I am in my life, and so that's been very interesting to see too. Yeah, but I love what you guys said too. Awesome.
So you guys, it's already been an hour, and it feels like it's been about 8 minutes. I'm so glad that you two were here with us today. Jonny, I'm so glad that you were here with us for your first time.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate that.
You guys, everybody that's been here with us, thank you all so much for being here. And I just love being here for you, doing this with you. I just love to see you guys. I've been gone most of the summer, so I'm very happy to be in your presence again. So thank you all for being here. And Brianna, thank you so much for your work backstage. Do you guys have anything I want you to tell everybody where they can find you, your website, what you have coming up, events, services, good things like that.
Spiritual Blacksmith, you want to go first?
Sure. So Spiritual Blacksmith, you can find me online, www.spiritualblacksmith.com, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I see clients online and in person in Southern California. Have some events coming up, have a retreat coming up in December in Bali, working with a lovely medium colleague, Karen Huber, out of Germany. So we are going to be helping people who really want to step into their power, their gifts, work with them December 13th through the 20th in Bali. So we still have just a few more spots. I believe we have 5 spots left. So if you are interested, please shoot me an email, info@spiritualblacksmith.com, or go to my website. Would love to sign you up. You can join us. And that's the next major big thing I have coming up here in San Diego. Have a new moon cacao ceremony coming up later this month. Again, the information is on my website. So yeah.
Love it. I've seen your pictures from Bali and it looks amazing and I can't wait. Hopefully one day I'll make it there to one of your retreats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love to have you.
Yeah, for me, you can check out my website, jonnytorgersen.com. Oh, thanks for putting that up there. And so I just wrapped a 5-week online mediumship course yesterday, actually. And so I'm going to do another round, probably starting October. So check out my website, get in my mailing list so you can get all the information about what I do. And then, yeah, like you guys said before, I do hypnotherapy, mediumship readings, and I love working with people's minds, you know, in case you can't tell. It really fuels me because I see the power, you know, this is what I know, like when you start to change on the inside, everything on the outside will be reflected. And so I just love this work and yeah, be honored to work with more people.
All right, you guys, thank you very much for being here. We'll see you again, if not next week, the week after. I love you all to pieces. Be well.
Have a great one.